Well, Farai Mwakutuya is joining us on the line from Harare with more on this. Farai, what more can you tell us about those imposed sanctions on President Mnangagwa and other senior leaders by the U.S. government?
Hi, Beatrice. Thank you so much. As you quite rightly say, these sanctions replace executive order sanctions that were imposed in 2003. These sanctions that are put in place now are called the Magnitsky sanctions, and they have sanctioned 11 individuals, including President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the First Lady, the Vice President, General Constantino Chiwenga, as well as some of President Mnangagwa's close allies and business people. It also sanctions 3 companies that are linked to the individuals that are also on that sanctions list. The sanctions include travel bans and freezing of their assets. So those are the measures that are in place. In one hand, the U.S. has repealed some measures, but has introduced more that seem to be more punitive and targeting specific individuals. Beatrice.
Well, Farai, so what has been the reaction by the government and people across Zimbabwe?
Well, the spokesperson of the official government spokesperson, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Nick Mangwana, took to his X account saying that while the repealing of some of the sanctions is an endorsement of the re-engagement exercise that the Zimbabwean government has been undertaking, the fact that President Mnangagwa, his family and his allies have been put on sanctions essentially means that those sanctions have not been removed and Zimbabwe is still under sanctions and that they want more. I had an opportunity to speak to the Director of Information for the ruling ZANU-PF party earlier, and he echoed similar sentiments, saying that these sanctions remain illegal, that as long as any Zimbabwean is under sanctions and the country is under sanctions, and they will not accept anything less than a total removal, unconditional removal of these sanctions. Ordinary Zimbabweans also sharing those mixed reactions, saying they're optimistic and encouraged that the UN has taken these steps, but saying that they haven't gone far enough. Some people suggesting that perhaps it's the U.S. realizing that these sanctions haven't worked, they haven't been effective, and so they are now starting to repeal them strategically bit by bit. So mixed reactions, but I think the main message is that it's not enough. The entire raft of sanctions needs to be removed.